Welcome to the Guitar Dads Podcast, a podcast for guitar dads by guitar dads. This week, time to have a heart-to-heart discussion for New Year's Eve plans. The 90s are coming, the 90s are coming. And the guys, check out the King of Gristle. It won't be a cock tease, we'll actually tell you about it this week on the Guitar Dads Podcast. Now, the guys who saw a really big cock last night, Matt and Dave.
Hello, everybody. I'm Matt.
And I'm Dave. We
try
to get through that.
Are we really going there, Dave, with this?
We're going there.
Apparently, we're going there.
We have to go there. Apparently, we are going there. Welcome to the show,
here we are.
everybody.
Welcome to the show. Now you know what kind of show it's going to be.
Oh, man. Yeah, we had to go there just to start it off right. All right. Well, welcome. And let's get through all the busy stuff real quick. Thanks to all our loyal listeners. And if you're new here, hey, thanks for checking us out. We appreciate it. Lots of ways you can support the show. You can check us out over at Guitar Dads Podcast on Instagram and on Facebook. Come join the private group and have some fun. Or if you want to support the show in other ways, you can go over to patreon.com/guitardadspodcast and lots of tiers over there for you guys if you want to help support it. It really does help run the show, and we greatly appreciate those of you who are currently patrons. So,
yes,
Matt, shall we? Let's get to this week.
Here we go.
Into the Dadaverse. And by the way, a lot of you guys wanted to hear a little bit of a longer show, so we're gonna give it to you. We're gonna listen to the fans, and we're gonna give it to you.
We're gonna give it to you, but not too much.
Not too much. Not too much. If you want some more, you can go over to Patreon. You can check out the Patreon episode too.
That's right. If you really want a lot more, go to the Patreon, and please, we would love it if you do. And thank you to our current patrons. So let's go, Dave.
Yes. All right, into the Dadaverse. There was some news this week. So I guess Heart is going to be reuniting for at least one concert on New Year's Eve in Seattle.
Cool.
And they have said they are working on new music. So
this
is kind of exciting. Is this what they're like? They're coming up on, I think they're at their 50th anniversary.
Yeah,
so
I believe it. Yeah, good for them.
Is this what they're going to do to celebrate? Is this going to be a tour eventually? Are they going to just put out an album?
Oh, it has to be a tour. It has to be a tour.
You think so? Well, so Ann Wilson's out there though with a new not new.
Oh yeah,
I think she's had this band for a while, but
she's been around with that band for quite some time. Oh God, I forget. But she goes out like solo with a band and does all the hard hits, and she's been doing that for a while. And from what I understand, it's an amazing show she puts on. So, I mean, she's kind of still got it
the way she does.
Yeah, she's kind of from what I understand, she kind of still has it. Unlike Vince Neil. Oh, by the way, we didn't talk about this. Any chance we get to bash Vince Neil, but one of the things we didn't talk about is that. From the latest tour of Guns N' Roses, Axl really struggled in like the end part of the tour. And if you listen to some of the clips, it's bad. There's a Welcome to the Jungle clip going on out there now, and it's like terrible. And I feel bad for the guy.
And it's real jungle.
Have you heard it? I'm having problems.
I didn't think he sounded that great in the beginning of the tour or the middle of the tour for that matter. So
maybe. I think you're right. I think years and years of touring that they've been doing now. They've been touring for 8 years. Less whatever happened during the pandemic, and I just don't think he's got the juice anymore to do it. So it's kind of again, it's kind of sad. But when you listen to a singer like Axl and the way he used to sing, it's like. There's just no way you could maintain that. There's just no way, No. So
it's true about that's a good point, and it's true of a lot of bands that we love. That that at some point, Father Time just kind of gets your number, and it's over, and it happens to everybody. So it's I don't know. Maybe it's the type of music that he's had to sing. Maybe it's the fact that they've toured for so long. Maybe he's just not keeping up with his voice.
Yeah,
who knows?
like there are people that can do it. Like look at James Hetfield. Like it's not like what James Hetfield does is easy to sing. Like he's got that growl. He sings some high notes, and he still sounds really good from what I can understand when I'm listening, from the clips I've heard. So, like, it is possible to do it, but I don't know. I just feel like the kind of material Axl does, it'd be hard for anybody to do it. So,
no, you're right. I mean, there's a lot of we saw Aerosmith a couple of years ago, or last year around this time, and Steven Tyler, he still kind of has it, but he doesn't have it. He's kind of in that in-between phase.
He tried. No, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Sorry, we got a little delay going on. But.
I was going to say he tried to do it and really hurt himself.
Yep.
Right? So it's like, this isn't going to work anymore, that level of singing. Like, there's only so long you can do it. And Steven Tyler had a great run, doing that kind of screechy high singing that he does. And good for him, but it's like, at some point, it's going to catch up with you. There's just not... I told you this. I go to the same vocal coach that Steven Tyler went to. And he tells me, he's like, yeah, that's not a sustainable thing to be able to sing like that,
No.
So,
well, I mean,
there's no technique you're going to learn to fix that, to let you sing like that. So, anyway.
Ann Wilson's 73, she's a couple years younger than Steven Tyler, but, it's impressive what she can do still.
Yeah,
I think some of those high notes that she can still hit. I think
she can still do it. So, who knows? I mean, it's kind of amazing, but good for them. And good for her. Yeah. I'd love to see a Heart tour. I know my wife's a massive Heart fan, Ann Wilson fan. My wife actually saw Ann Wilson with her mom, because her mom's a big Heart fan as well. They went to, I think I bought them the tickets and I didn't go because I wanted it to be like a nice mother-daughter outing. And they went to see Ann Wilson. This was a few years ago. This is probably
you missed out on maybe what could have been the only time you could have seen them.
I know. I probably just should have said no, I'm tagging along. But yeah, they had a great time at that show. So, but anyway, so yeah, I think they could do it. They should go on a tour. It'd be fun. I'd say let's go.
Yeah, I mean, I would check it out. It'd be very cool. So speaking of reunions, Mike Portnoy, the drummer that everybody knows as the longtime Dream Theater drummer, who left the band. They had their thing back. It was like 2011, I think he left, and then it was doing his own thing for a while. He is back.
He's back.
So, I know we're not like huge Dream Theater fans, but we were talking last night. I mean, how do you not appreciate and respect and love what Petrucci does?
Yeah, I mean, he's insane.
He's insane. He's absolutely out of control. But this would be interesting because for hardcore Dream Theater fans, I'm sure if you guys are out there, you can comment on this, because I don't really have, a real grip on what's going on in the Dream Theater camp. But I know there was some kind of a rift back then, and he left, and they brought this other guy in who was really good. I know Portnoy's not the original drummer, but made a bunch of albums with them, and now he's back. So
you know more than I do about anything of Dream Theater. So good, well done.
I just learned you.
You just learned me on the Dream Theater. Now, Mike Portnoy, not to be confused with Dave Portnoy from Barstool Sports, who was in the news recently. Who was in the news recently for purchasing the most expensive home.
Mike Portnoy tries pizza.
Oh, does he? Does the one bite pizza challenge? I wonder if any of the listeners know what the hell we're talking about. So anyway,
probably not.
Anyway. Because I think Barstool Sports is more popular in this Boston area because he's a local Boston guy, even though it is like a national brand. But I think people care about him a little more in the Boston area. Anyway, Mike Portnoy, welcome back to Dream Theater.
I thought you could say welcome to the jungle.
Welcome to the jungle.
Yeah. All right. So moving on. This is I'm bringing this up only because it kind of sparks another conversation. But because when I saw this, I thought this is really interesting because we see this rebirth of the 90s essentially. So, I saw this article. I saw this headline that said the Offspring are going to put out new music. I'm not a big Offspring fan.
But they were cool.
Recently put out they were cool back in the day, but it made me realize that there's a lot of like 90s bands making bigger, not I don't know, big comebacks like Blink-182. They're making big waves.
They definitely
right now.
are making big waves. Totally.
But Bush is still out there, although it's really a different lineup minus other than Gavin.
But Creed
and Creed. I was just gonna say Creed, the Oasis rumors.
Yeah.
And there's more out there. Who am I missing?
Well, I mean, we talked about the Summer of '99 tour.
Right. Yep.
So that the fact
it's like
that the cruise, it was a cruise, it wasn't a tour, it was a cruise, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was a cruise.
The Summer of '99 cruise we talked about. So yeah, I mean, I think there is like a revival of this to some extent. So I'll tell you a funny story about the Offspring. Recently, I was going through a Dunkin' Donuts drive-through. This is a very Boston thing. I was making my way through a suburban Dunkin' Donuts drive-through, and I pull up to the window.
Through a suburban? Who's suburban?
Yeah, no. It was in the suburbs, not actually in Boston itself. So, and by the way, everybody, the Dunkins in the suburbs are 1,000 times better than the ones that are actually in Boston. Just so you know.
I know it's a weird thing.
It's a weird thing.
The ones in Boston are dirty.
Yeah, they are. They're just dirty, and they're like bastions for homeless people. Anyway.
Oh, here we go. Jesus.
Here we go. You get the vibe we're talking about. But in it's really funny. There was a time where like the suburbs were too good for Dunkin' Donuts, and then at some point down the road, they allowed these suburban communities started allowing Dunkins into them, but they had to like play by their rules. So you started seeing these Dunkins pop up like with like nice shingled sides.
It's true.
And, yeah,
so
like,
it's weird.
Yeah, it's weird. Anyway, I was at one of these suburban Dunkins, and I pull up to the window to get my coffee. And
by the way, you've just given way too much detail about the Dunkin' Donuts architecture and design. And
yeah, but it's funny how it evolved in this area. There's one like in there's one in a town called Rockport, which is a place that I go to, and it's a seaside town, and there's a Dunkin' there, and on the Dunkin' sign itself, there's like lighthouses on the sign.
Oh yeah, they've rebranded in a way, and they actually, and a lot of them now. I don't know if this is the case around the country, but around here, a lot of them now are being redesigned and new signage, and they will have the name of the town on the actual building.
Really?
So it's an interesting rebrand. It
I
says
didn't know
like,
you knew this much about the
you,
rebranding of Dunkin'.
Yeah, you name the town runs on Dunkin'. So Boston runs on whatever
funny.
It is. So yeah, that's the whole thing.
This is way too
too much information.
For those listeners that's never been to a Dunkin', you just got all this information about Dunkin' Donuts, which is now just called Dunkin's.
The coffee kind of sucks.
Yeah, the coffee's not all that good, but we all still go there anyway.
Right.
I'm in the line. I'm getting my coffee because I'm on my way to a soccer game. This is classic, suburban dad stuff. And there's a kid working, like a high school kid working the Dunkin', and what's blaring in there? The Offspring. And so,
really?
Yeah. So I'm there, and and I can tell the kid like is, he looks like a rocker kid, And I go, hey man, are you into the Offspring? And he goes, oh man, yeah, I love the Offspring. He's like, I love grunge, I love Alice in Chains. This is like, whatever, 16-year-old kid. He's like,
was he frothing? Was he frothing milk? And like it was gotta keep it separated.
No, he didn't. That's a good idea, but he didn't do that. And he proceeds to tell me, he's like, oh yeah, man, I'm really into grunge. I'm really into Alice in Chains, and I'm really into STP, and I'm really into Soundgarden's my favorite band ever. And
wow.
he goes, and I'm a guitar player, and I'm like, oh really? This is all happening in a Dunkin' Donuts drive-through line, and so we get into this conversation. I'm like, oh yeah, what's your favorite guitar? So we get into this whole discussion about grunge.
There's like a 40-car lineup now.
There's legitimately a 40-car lineup in the drive-thru because I'm having a conversation with this kid about what like Epiphone Les Paul he has. It was
Oh, my
pretty
God.
epic. It was pretty epic. And my son's looking at me like, Dad, can you give me my freaking donut? Like, let's go. And it's like, yeah, it was great. I was so encouraged. I go, do any of your friends in high school are into this stuff? And he goes, no, they're all metalheads. And I was like, all right. So this,
How old was he?
I think he was like 15 or 16. I think I asked
Wow.
him. Yeah.
Did he find it odd that you were sticking a microphone out the window, or was that just like a normal thing?
Listen, if you are listening to this pod, I told him about the podcast. I don't think I got your name, but I think you're following us on Instagram because you pulled up another thing that happened is he pulled out his phone on Instagram and followed us again with a car.
Oh, very cool.
So if
Very
this
cool.
kid, you know who you are. If you're listening to this, shout us
Good for
out on
you,
Instagram and shout out to us because it was so encouraging to see a young lad.
All is not
so
lost.
into it. Yeah. Anyway, cool.
Music has good music.
Yeah, I
has a
never
bright
told you that
future,
story.
so that's good.
Some stories I save for Dave on the air.
Hey,
And
these
he
are good
does it.
stories.
Dave saves like gear acquisitions for himself
We're gonna
on
get
the
to
air.
that.
It happens
We're gonna
all
get
the
to that.
He doesn't even tell us it. It's like, Dave, I thought we were gear bros. Come on.
You love that term. Man. All right. Well, I think that was it for news. For news this week, it was a bit of a light week, at least for stuff that we dig. But
Yeah,
yeah.
but
And
that's
you got
cool.
anything else? Any other news that came up?
What other? No, I think that's all I can think of.
What are they listening to over at Starbucks? Did you find out?
I don't
Did you
go to
there afterwards?
I don't go, as you say in Boston. I don't go to Starbucks. Starbucks. No, I don't really go to Starbucks often because I think their espresso is terrible. I actually think
hot take.
their coffee isn't all that bad. Like their regular, like American type of coffee isn't all that bad to me. Some people hate it, but I think it's all right. Yeah, I think it's pretty good. But I don't know. When you're in a pinch, Dunkin' sometimes is pretty good. If you get a fresh Dunkin', you're doing all right. It's fine.
It's okay.
Yeah,
it's okay.
you'd be
I mean,
fine.
it's convenient. It's convenient.
But
and
I
do
think
go out,
Starbucks
but-
espresso is terrible, and this is another road I'm going to go down into gear acquisition land is getting into espresso. So stay tuned for that for the guitar,
There we
not
go.
guitar, for Espresso Dads podcast. It's coming
Yes,
as part of the
it's coming.
dads,
Part of the
part of
franchise.
the Guitar Dads franchise. Espresso.
All right, man.
All right, what do we want to get
Shall
into?
we head into? Shall we get to the dad joke segment of the week?
Yes, that's right. It's the dad joke of the way. Dave.
Oh man! All right, off the rails. Wait, I haven't told a joke.
Go ahead. No. That's leading up to the joke. All right, go ahead.
That's the lead up to
Yeah,
it. So my family just found out Grandpa has an addiction to Viagra. No one's taking it harder than Grandma. Delayed laughter. Delayed laughter. And on this show, it's an analog delay. Anyway,
that's right. It's
moving
analog
on.
delay. We're not messing around with that digital delay. Anyway, here we are. Okay.
all
right,
right. You want to get into it? What are we doing?
Yeah,
Shall
let's
we
get-
in?
let's
What do
get
you want to
into-
do some gear, or do you want to get into?
You want to talk a little gear and then
last night?
how about we talk a little gear and then we get into the show review from Greg Koch.
Okay, yeah, that's
Cock.
a great idea. Hey, so I don't know if you're going to post this, but maybe I'm going to put you on the spot to do it.
Yeah.
We both got our new Rattlesnake cables, and
Oh,
we
yeah.
had Hank on a few weeks ago. Go listen back to that episode.
Yeah.
And I had noticed a difference right away when I plugged in, and I really noticed a clarity difference. And
Yeah.
you did an AB, which was
Yeah, well, I
interesting
tried
because
to.
I
Yeah.
got it wrong.
Yeah, so I try to. So, a lot of you might be like, oh, this is a little ridiculous. It's a cable. It's a cable. And I think that's might be true to some extent, although Hank gave a great account of, why the cable can make a difference in tone on the show. So, go back, listen to that. Go check out their website. I believe you can still get 20% off with Guitar Dads. They're not really sponsoring the show officially, but they're giving us the 20% off, so that's great. But hey, if they want to sponsor, they can give us a call and they can be we can talk about that. But so that's what's going on. Like they're not paying us or anything, just for full disclosure. And in the spirit of Lee Anderton, for full disclosure, we're not on the payroll or anything. We just think,
right.
Hank is a cool guy, and what him and his family are doing is cool. And, and the cables are good. So Dave got the cable, and I got a cable as well. I ordered mine. And yeah, I did hear a difference in clarity in my room. And I was a little bit kind of struck by it, like, wow, there is a difference between. And I did it with I didn't do it with just like a cheap Guitar Center cable. I did it with my Fender cable, my one that has the tweed covering on it. And so they're actually very like similar. But what's interesting is the rattlesnake cable is the thicker. It's actually a thicker cable, and that's one of the things that Hank kind of described. So I found it like really like striking, like, wow, there is a clarity and kind of even a slight volume increase, right, Dave? Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I tried to capture this. I put a mic in front of my cab, in front of my amplified Nation, and I recorded it just straight up, didn't do any EQing or anything. And, through the recorded tone through the mic, and I'm not an expert on miking amps or anything, so there's that, and I kind of did it quickly. I didn't even like put the mic on I have an Sennheiser 609, one of those ones you can like hang over the cab that has the flat. It's like a flat mic. It's made to kind of hang over a cab with just from the cable. I could have like really positioned it right on a mic stand, but I didn't even do any of that. And to think like, okay, is there a difference? Can you hear it? Is there an audible, clear difference? It's like a Jim Lil thing. Between between the two cables, and it's very hard on the recording I did to tell exactly what's going on. But in the room, I think it's very clear to tell exactly what's going on. So I don't know. There's something to be said for that. So take that what you will.
Yeah, I was equally as kind of struck because I wasn't expecting. I think in my head I was just looking forward to trying the cable out, and I wasn't expecting like a glaring difference. But the first chord was like, oh wow, and then I hit it again, like, yeah, there is and I went back to my other cable.
Yeah, I did that
played
too.
it, and like, yeah, no, there's a difference, and you're right. There's a volume difference and a clarity difference. So I don't know what Hank's doing, but he's doing it right. And so go check out Rattlesnake Cables and go get some of these things. Yeah, they're great. I mean,
I totally agree. I think like just like I posted a picture like he ships it in this beautiful little like canvas bag, and like these things just feel so high quality. Again, we're not even being paid to say this.
No. No, and, we are being paid by Lee Anderton, though, to tell you that you should go try a Victory
disclose things.
Hand.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
I'm trying to.
Anyway, yeah, no. So and I did post a video on the Facebook group of the unboxing and Instagram if you want to go see that. But these cables are great. Like Matt said, they're nice and thick. They're great quality.
Yeah.
And we really love what Hank's doing.
I can't wait to like throw, because I got the rattlesnake weave color. I can't wait for like a hot summer day and I can just throw it in the dirt and see if it freaks people out.
What the hell are you doing over there?
I had to
adjust. What are you doing over there? You're all like, you're like hot and bothered.
No, I had to adjust.
You still have your pants on?
Yeah, I do. My the cable for my headphones was hung up on something. I had to get it unhung. So, anyway,
well, you were kind of reaching down somewhere. I was getting a little concerned.
No, take it easy. Oh, jeez.
I mean, you're just talking your headphone, wires like hung up on something. You're reaching down a certain area.
But maybe
what the hell's going on?
I mean,
there?
maybe I'll post this recording and you guys can have a fun time with it. Like, yeah, I bet if you listen to it on headphones, very loud, you might be able to hear a difference. It's very slight, though. If we're just honest, it's just very slight on the recorded. Yeah. In the room, I will maintain it makes a difference, and it also just like these things just make me have a lot more confidence in my cable. Especially gigging. So it's definitely coming with me to the gig this weekend. So.
Yeah, I mean, are you interested in purchasing a new one? Did that geek you out enough that you would maybe exchange a number of your other cables?
Yeah, I mean, probably. Yeah, I would definitely get some more just to have that kind of confidence in the cable, that I'm using. So why not? Why not, man?
Yeah. So thanks, Hank.
Yeah,
well,
man.
so speaking of quality, I think I did. I might have posted a video. I can't remember. Maybe it was some kind of a. I did some kind of a post about the string joys that I had gotten. Everybody, if you were a long term fan of the show, you heard my my weird, like, just probably once in a lifetime, will never happen again, kind of like string incident that I
Oh
had
yeah.
a number of months back, where I was restringing a guitar and I kept breaking the high E string. No, it was the B. It was the B.
Oh, it was
Every
the
time
B.
I would
Oh,
cut the extra off, the whole string would just snap.
damn.
And I did it 3 different times, and it snapped 3 different times.
Damn.
And I actually reached out. We reached out to Blake Weiland about it, and he was commenting on, what did he say? Like, check to see if there's any burrs on the
Yeah, which is all
on the
correct.
peg,
Yeah.
or that guy, which is all yeah. Well, like, so I had done all this stuff, and I didn't see anything. But at that point, I was kind of fed up with the Diodarios. They were the NYXLs, I think I put on there, and I was surprised that they were snapping as easily as they did. But anyway, it did, and I made a switch, and I ever since, I think I'm going to be a Stringjoy fanboy, because
Nice.
I bought a pack of the signatures, and I put them on one of my Les Pauls, and I'll tell you, the feel, really nice, the clarity great, the balance. I mean, these
All right.
strings are. I mean, I know Stringjoy has been around for a while and people love them, but I'm on board now, so I'm really digging these things.
No, I think it's cool. I think just like, Hank has done successfully with the cables, I think Blake and his team over there and his partners over there have done a good job of explaining, what goes on with strings and how, these little things do make a difference. So, yeah, no, that's great. I know I've still never used any Stringjoy strings, despite, knowing Blake and hearing about him for years. And yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to give him a try. I've been a kind of a diehard Diodario, and then I throw on Ernie Ball on there as well, occasionally. So I'm like a mass market string guy. But yeah, maybe I'll give it a shot, Dave. If you're telling me that they're working well, I did put 9.5s on my PRS, and I like, it's like a weird gauge, but I like them. I like them because it's it's a little bit in, because technically it's kind of in between a Strat and a Les Paul. What's it called, Dave? I'm losing my mind. I'm too tired today.
You're talking about talking about
scale
your
length. Scale length.
Scale length.
Scale length. Sorry, I'm really losing my mind.
Jeez, it's late. It's
yeah.
late.
Well,
We're
I'm coming
this.
off of COVID. I had COVID last week, everybody. Now I'm alive.
Yeah.
When we were recording, you probably noticed I was pretty congested on the pod last week. That's
How many
why.
times does this make this for you?
Oh, that's number 3 for me. Yeah.
It's like that reminds me of the Seinfeld, the episode in the car dealership with Putty, and George is doing the Twix challenge.
Oh,
and
yeah.
And the mechanic keeps eating the Twix, and
Yeah.
George is like, "How many
is that for you?"
Like 6.
Yeah, that's me with COVID.
And the guys,
But I got it in a rock and roll way. I got it at
yes,
I got it at a super spreader show that my band played. And Dave was actually there, but he didn't get it amazingly. So
it's weird. Yeah, I was standing literally right next to a couple of our friends that got it too, and then I talked to the band afterwards.
Oh
and,
yeah, Dave was all
and you
over
and,
us. He was like, I couldn't get enough of our shit.
I was literally all over you.
I know. Anyway, well, I'm glad you didn't get it.
So
and
anyway,
coming out of it. So that's why I'm out of it.
healthy.
All right. What else we got?
Anyway, do you want to get into this thing? This because you had given me an iRig a long time ago that I never.
Oh, I
used.
did?
And this new, I still actually think I have.
Oh, I also gave you the Mustang Micro. You probably haven't had a chance.
Just gave me the Mustang.
You haven't had a chance to try that. All right. Well, you're going to give me
tell
that
people
back.
what that
though.
is.
The
Yes,
we've talked about the Mustang Micro before on this
Have we?
podcast. Yes, we definitely have.
I thought we talked about
because
the
my
Mustang
wife gave
salad.
it to me for like my birthday one year.
Oh, right.
The Mustang Micro is not. So this came out of the conversation we had last week, which I think was on the Patreon. But we'll give you a little taste, which is Dave kind of looking for a kind of late night practice solution. We will reveal what that is on the Patreon, though. So you're going to have to go to Patreon if you want to know.
Yes.
What a tease that is! Like,
What a tease that
everybody's
is! Like
dying
anybody
to know.
cares.
But
everybody's dying to know what I landed on. There were a lot of options.
Yeah.
A lot of direct options
Yeah.
To pick from.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, I'm just gonna it's a mea culpa for me because I was wrong.
Yeah, Dave was wrong all along. Anyway, well, what else is new? Anyway, Dave was talking about like, oh, maybe playing through headphones, and I realized that I had this Fender Mustang Micro little headphone amp thing that I was gifted to me, like I said, and it actually sounds pretty good for just like a bumming around the house with headphones on. It actually doesn't sound too bad. It's pretty cool. Is it going to be like, your hardcore practice routine thing? Maybe not. But it could be. It depends how picky you want to be. And we know Dave. He's a pretty picky dude. So
I am.
But for just like hanging out and just like hanging out on the couch or something, I think it's a pretty good solution. It sounds surprising. Dave, you're gonna try it and you're gonna be like, wow, it sounds surprisingly good to me. The Mustang Micro. And it has all kinds of different amps in it. I think it's pretty good. Like, I'll tell you what, which makes me think like, the Tone Master, the Tone Master might be just fine, right? But like we talked about a couple weeks ago, the Tone Master Pro we're talking about, I wasn't super impressed with what I heard in the demos, but maybe if I heard this thing in person in my house, I would have a different take on the Tone Master Pro. Am I going to get one for what they're charging for it? No, of course not. But anyway, there you go.
Well, there you go.
There it is.
Yeah, I mean, I will try it out, and we will talk about it on a future pod because I think it is a cool option. It's a cool solution for those of you out there like me that, and Matt, we got kids and they go to bed and we don't want to be loud, but we got tube amps and we really want to crank them, and there's no point in coming down and putting on your amp and like playing it at like 2. Because it's just going to sound crappy. So we really want to.
And if you could invest in
all sorts of things,
all kinds of stuff like an aux box, like a UA aux box.
Yep.
Even the torpedo captor, which is what I have, not the Captor X, just the regular torpedo captor, which is actually, there's all these different solutions, but they all like have their issues, right? I think the only one that is a true kind of solution that Dave could use, from what I understand, I'm not super well versed on every single attenuator that's out there, but I think the aux box is the only one that you could come down, turn on your amps, turn on the aux box, plug headphones into the aux box, and have a really great experience. I don't think there's really anything that's like an all-in-one solution for that with any of the attenuators. I think you have to like with I can tell you and the Captor X might be a little. I'm not really well versed on the Captor X. Maybe we can look it up. But there's not like a headphone out on that. There's like, it's designed to go into your computer, and then of course you can have a headphone out of your computer. But if you just want like an all-in-one solution, no computer involved, the best thing would be the aux box. But that's like what is that? Like a $1,600 piece of equipment?
$1,700 piece of equipment.
So,
well, and therein lies the issue, right? Because at that level, now you're talking like Tone Master and Quad Cortex and all those things that, they offer similar solutions to that problem. So, it's going to cost you money.
It's going to cost you
money. How much is this
money.
Mustang, by the way?
It's like $100. The Mustang Micro,
so, Yeah. If you're looking for like a little solution to just kind of tool around at night and not make a lot of noise and maybe even play guitar up on your couch while watching TV, it's probably a good option. I'm going to try it out.
I don't know why you would watch TV with headphones on, but maybe you want to watch like a game and you don't care about what they're saying.
Yeah, exactly. I was just going to say, you want to pop a game on, but you don't,
I do that all the time down here in the guitar cave as I have games on and kind of, I glance up at them and see what's going on. So... Yeah. So I thought we talked about this iRig USB last week, Dave. Did we not get to it?
I don't know. Did we actually hit on it? I think we were going to get to it on the pod, but you know what? We're kind of running short on time. Maybe we'll talk about this on the Patreon.
Well, why don't we look in the interest of that? Yeah, we'll go to that on the Patreon, but we have to get to Greg Koch.
Yeah, we got to talk some Koch. And yes, the jokes are just going to fly because that's just the way we are.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
But Greg Koch...
If you don't want to hear Koch jokes, you can go to another podcast.
He did say to us last night, he told everybody how to pronounce
how
it.
Annoyed he is by
he said it's Koch, like German. Koch.
Yeah. So anyway. All right. So we checked out Greg Koch. We actually went to a pretty well known club around up in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, Jimmy's.
Yeah.
Is it Jimmy's
Jazz and Blues Club? Incredible venue. Wow.
What a cool venue.
Yeah,
Very cool
loved
venue.
it.
And we walked out of there saying what we would see literally any show there because the venue itself is just very cool. But yeah, we checked out some cool music last night. Went to see Greg Koch, played Koch Marshall Trio with his son on drums, and then what's the dude on keys? I forget his name. Toby something.
Toby Marshall.
Well, it must be Toby Marshall. Toby Marshall.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello. It's late.
Hello.
It's late. We were at a show last night. It's
yeah.
been
I'm
a long
tired.
Day.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Toby Marshall. I mean, what can you say?
What can you say?
It was a tone fest. It was a guitar fest. So Greg Koch is just an absolute freaking monster player.
Yeah.
And I think defines the word underrated.
Yeah. It's really kind of hard to describe what an awesome guitar experience it is. Like he has such feel and such personality. Everybody knows, those of you that are in the guitar kind of world and follow this stuff know like he's such a big personality. He has this crazy vocabulary he likes to use and put into play and all these things. And you kind of see that come through on the guitar. I think one of our listeners actually in the group actually commented a similar thing, right? I think they said, the way that he kind of uses his vocabulary and this quirkiness that he has just to his personality, he does a similar thing in guitar. And that's 100% true. And the way that he does it, there is some like comedy almost in the way he plays the guitar sometimes and little stops that he might do. But, just overall, the way he plays in the feel that he has and the kind of pocket he has as a player, just all the hallmarks of, just an amazing guitar, like next level guitar player that we should say, right? Were there, right? I mean, just like the phrasing he has to his solos, the amount of kind of technicality that goes into a lot of it, that he makes it look like it's nothing, which all the greats do.
Yep.
Just everything about it is just unbelievable. And, and let's talk about the band a little bit. His son is just an incredible drummer. Right.
We said this last night, but and he talked about it. But they sounded, I've never heard a trio sound so full.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because you got Toby over there on the keys, and his bass parts were just like, filling in that rhythm section, and you could hear the way, and they kind of played off each other a lot all night too, with the guitars and the keys.
Yeah.
And it was just a cool thing to just watch.
Oh yeah. And
their sound is just killer.
Whenever you have a keyboardist, organist, whatever you want to call him, he was really playing like a real like Hammond organ is what it looked like. Real Leslie cabinet that's behind him, and a bass cabinet, an amp he was playing through, what it looked like to me, right, Dave? So you got this bass sound that he was playing with his left hand like the whole time, just laying it down. Then he would go into a solo, right? Like an organ solo, and that bass line that he was doing would of course continue. And you just like, this is unbelievable. Like, what the hell is going on right now? And then you got Greg Koch, like just burning it up, just burning it up on the guitar. I know you love that. Just burning it up like unbelievable. So it would, just to give you a sense of what it is, it was a mix of, instrumental tunes and songs where Greg would sing, right? It was probably more instrumental than singing, in case you're just wondering what to expect if you haven't seen him. But, definitely really worth it to take it in and just see what it is. Highlights for me, of course, are going to be, he does a cover of Since I've Been Loving You, Zeppelin. And it's just unbelievable. It just blows your head right off. I thought the house was going to fall down. He just sent the crowd into a frenzy with that. He did just unbelievable, kind of paying homage to Jimmy Page and to that song and to the feel, but putting his own touch on it, putting his own kind of virtuosity on top of it. I just thought was unbelievable. And also, how there's like this little kind of call and response that happens in that song between Plant and Page. Greg Koch, the way he
Yep.
did that was with the swells on the guitar,
man,
right?
the
Yeah,
swells.
talk about
Dude,
like that's
they're-
an example of like really cool, almost like comedic way to play the guitar, where he's like doing this call and response on the guitar, and like the Robert Plant part is this swell of high notes that he was playing on his guitar.
Yep.
Just unbelievable. So
Yeah, he's such an eclectic player. His style, I think, is so unique, very, very different than anything I've seen, certainly lately. And Matt mentions the swells, but I mean, Jesus, let's be honest. There were more swells in an episode of The Deadliest Catch. So anyway,
yeah, like that swell technique with the volume swell and tone swells that he was doing,
so good,
were really unbelievable. He also did an amazing cover of "Because We Ended as Lovers," Jeff Beck, which was again just unbelievable. But most of what he did was original music, and it was incredible. Anything from like straight ahead kind of rock to like these kind of twangy country, because he's a telly guy. But he never played anything that was too like country chicken pickiny, but he does like incorporate that style into like blues licks, which is another really, I think, unique way that he plays a guitar. And when like the slow blues that he did a couple of like slow blues where he sang, and then he had one that was instrumental, and they were just unbelievable. Like I feel like a slow blues is where you really hear like the style and kind of personality of a player, right? If they're a blues player, which Greg definitely is rooted in the blues for sure. And just like, oh my God, right, Dave? Like it's just like that's unbelievable.
I mean, it was just a guitar fest, a tone fest, a clinic, of sorts. It was a fun night. It definitely, go check if you get a chance to go check them out. Go check check these guys out.
Yeah.
And another thing that Matt and I talk about this a lot on the pod, and because I think as we're getting older, it's not as like, we're not as adventurous going to shows. We're not looking for those big, like the shed shows and the arena tours and all that stuff as much as we're looking for the smaller club shows. This is exactly what I need in my life right now, where I can just go to a club like this, listen to blues, sit down and enjoy some bourbon.
A waitress brings you whatever drink you want, or a server brings you whatever drink you want.
A server, yeah.
Yeah.
This is exactly what I'm looking for at this stage in my life.
No, seriously, Dave. Like it's like that's a really great that you brought that up, because it's like the most comfortable concert experience. No waiting in lines, no screwing around. You get a beautiful table, and they come to you and ask for your drink order. It's like the greatest thing in the world. So, Dave, this is like our new hangout. We're going to become like regulars here. We're going to go up there every. Did I just say Greg? Did I just call you Greg?
No, I think you said.
Oh, Dave. Did I say Dave?
I don't know.
I'm seriously losing. I'm very tired.
I think we're very tired.
But
right
anyway,
now. We shouldn't be.
I know,
recording
but
this
anyway,
right
I mean, it's an unbelievable venue. It's so cool. So Eric Gales is coming there in November, and there's just a string of amazing blues guys that like I've never seen, or sometimes I've never even heard of. That Dave, I think, is worth our kind of going up there. I will say this though. I will say this: they know what they got, and they charge you for it. And so there's nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
Like I'm willing to pay it, especially if it goes to the artists. I'm hoping the artists like it because they get paid a little bit more than they do elsewhere. But Dave, as an example, I was looking up the Eric Gales tickets. He's playing the night before at the City Winery in Boston. The City Winery.
Oh, okay.
I bet some listeners
cool
are going to know
venue.
what that is. That's like a kind of a chain thing around the country. But he's playing there.
Yep.
The tickets are like much, much less.
Are they?
City Winery. I think it's a bigger room, so they can kind of get away with
is.
it. But there's barely
Not by
there's
much,
barely
though.
any tickets left for Eric Gales. I think I waited too long for this room. So I might have to go the other night in Boston, which I'd rather not do. But I don't know. You and I are gonna have to work this out what we're doing. So for Eric Gales, but
Yeah, Gales is another guy. But I to your point, I think I honestly could be happy because I'm sure they don't bring any mediocre player into Jimmy's.
oh man,
I think you and I could be satisfied walking into that place on any given night and just sitting down and watching some music.
Oh yeah. I mean, they actually play jazz. We're not really big into jazz, so that wouldn't work any given night, Dave, but I would say any given night where there's a blues artist.
I can get into that. I can sit there and listen to jazz. I totally could get into
I've been
that.
in enough jazz shows. I can manage it.
Yeah, I'll tell you where I really started getting into jazz was on my honeymoon, because there was a jazz club that my wife and I kind of went to a couple different nights.
On the cruise.
That we just on the cruise, yeah. It was there was like a little jazz. It wasn't even in a room. It was like almost in the kind of like the I don't know what you call it, the lobby area.
Oh.
But yeah, it was just so, it was we were in Hawaii. It was nice and relaxing, and it was like the perfect kind of like end of night way to kind of wind down and just sit there and listen to jazz. It was and I really got into it.
Well, yeah, of course. If you want to fall asleep, that's what you're going to listen to.
No, I really love it, man. I really dig it. I like jazz.
I don't
know how you can't get into. I don't understand how you don't like jazz.
Well, Dave Brubeck,
you're such a music fan.
Brubeck is coming up to Jimmy's. You should go see him. He's incredible.
Why don't you come with me, man?
I mean, maybe I will. Maybe I'm going to start wearing scarves when it's not that cold.
Maybe.
And we'll go up there.
Maybe I'll turn you into a fan.
Maybe we'll go up there.
I just don't. How do you not, as a music fan, as a guitar fan, and as a theory aficionado?
I'm definitely not a theory aficionado. That's where you're way off. That's where you're way wrong.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway,
what a night, man.
Yeah, that was a fun show. Like I said, great venue. Oh, and then we went to go, and then Greg and the boys are back there, just hanging out, doing a meet and greet. So we got to do that and see Greg and see the boys and, tell them how great they were. And, it was fun. It was a great time. There was a lot of people, so we didn't get time to get into it with them. Like, we didn't get to have like a full-on interview, but I don't know. We're working on it.
I mean, Greg was very courteous, when he was like, listen, sir, you've been here for about 25 minutes. It's time to move along to give other people a chance to,
He's like, I told you about every single pedal on my board. That's enough. No, I didn't even ask him about one pedal or any gear or anything.
We took a picture of his board. I got to post that to the Facebook group. I'll do that after
the gram.
Yeah, people are going to go wild over this. Well, I mean, it wasn't anything like, earth-shattering, but it was a cool board.
He shared his board before, but you should definitely share, like, this is what he's out on tour with. It did have the Delay Llama on there. He had a couple of jam pedals. He had the Delay Llama, and he also had the Jam Wah, the Jam Pedals Wah. That's all. And then
which he only used once, I think, last night.
He only busted out the Wah once, but when he used it, it was pretty incredible, let me tell you. I mean, he is. He's just like such a monster player. It is unbelievable. So...
yeah, so go check them out.
Definitely.
All right. Well, we definitely packed a punch into this show.
Yes, we did.
We got more to come on the Patreon episode. So if you want to go check out, see what we got going on there, head on over to patreon.com/GuitarDadsPodcast, and you can support the show if you choose. And as I said at the beginning, if you're listening to this for the first time, thank you for coming along. We hope you join the ride for next week and the week after and all those other weeks. And if you're a loyal listener, hey, thanks. We appreciate you. We totally do. And go check us out at Guitar Dads Podcast over on Patreon, over on Instagram and the Facebook group. Leave a comment somewhere, review, follow,
all that stuff.
I hate to do all that stuff. I really hate saying it all, but everybody else does it. It really makes a big difference when you guys do that stuff. So we really appreciate it. We thank you guys. And we're loving that you're loving what we're doing. So anything else, Matt?
That's it. Yeah, don't forget about the Patreon, like Dave said. It really helps us out. You probably noticed we went to a different platform for recording and for a video. This stuff doesn't come cheap, but it's made possible by our patrons. So thank you so much, everybody. Yes. And I think that's it, Dave.
All right. Well, I think that was this week's Guitar Dads Podcast.
That's it. Keep rocking alive. Catch you on the flip.